Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today I back off being joined once again by Jimmy, Jake, and like always, Fluff.
Sure.
What's going on, y'all?
What's up, beautiful people?
And like always, there's buttons down below. Feel free to click them, they're there for a reason. Today's matchup is Fluff versus Mike. Mike's not able to join us today for the commentary, but Jimmy knows his deck pretty well. It is SS4 Bardock versus Cabba. Cabba is the new leader from set 15, like we mentioned earlier this week. A lot of new people were playing the newer decks. Don't look for profiles because none of us were really ready to profile them. So hopefully we'll get those to you as soon as possible. But let's take it away.
So Mike wasn't here, but Mike's one of our new players, and he really caught me off guard in this match with how much better it seems like overnight he's gotten at this game. And it was just really exciting to see. You know, he's very obviously been putting in the time and the effort to learn this game. So if he hears this, kudos to you for that. But into the Cabba deck here, I'm going for it's basically an arrival centric strategy on the deck. You know, Jake was using, when we saw his profile before, or we saw his deck before, was using a lot of the set 7 stuff. I'm not using as much of the old stuff, to the point that I'm not even using the Chomp of Autos, which I kind of wish that maybe I had.
It's pretty strong. It's pretty resource intensive, so it's going to suck a lot of cards out of your hand, like to summon and keep on the table. But it's pretty strong if you get it there.
Yeah. Because I was trying to utilize the Unison, and I think it might be in this matchup that Mike adequately identified one threat of getting flipped over, plus being able to combo the cards to the drop area is something that I want to do. So he was, you know, very Unison Haiti. This was a feels bad moment, and kind of when I was like,
Oof, that is rough.
Yeah. So not getting any value out of the Goku Black there. And moving into his turn 3, so I know this has the potential to be a big aggro turn for him.
The newer, more powerful counterplays in the game are really making it a lot more difficult to just go into a 2-drop on turn 2.
Yeah.
Which is adding another layer of complexity to the game that personally I don't think I'm used to yet.
It's very different. I'm sitting there, because I was sitting there questioning, like, that can hit anything? Like, it's anything 20,000 or less for 1 energy? I was like, that seems like a really crazy trade. You're getting a 16,000 body for 1 energy.
Plus a counter spell.
Plus a counter spell, and I just tapped out.
I can't tell by the color of the sleeves, but it does also strike 1 life when you activate that counter.
Yeah,
okay.
he took it.
Yeah. I couldn't see because of that, but yeah, essentially you're still plussing because this early in the game you would want to pick up life.
Yeah.
The card's fantastic, and I played it a lot in Toa, and that's my favorite card in that entire package, at least for Toa. And then when I switched over to Bardock, it's still a fantastic card. But I mean, if we look back at cards like Denial of Hope sort of changed the game for a format, and then slowly fell out of favor, and now we basically have a Denial of Hope on legs that, you know, is again sort of changing the game again.
And you see here, he's aggressively responding to everything that I do. So I'm not getting value. This is 3 turns that I haven't received really any value out of any energy turned sideways.
I mean, he's correctly identified to keep you out of the battle step as much as possible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he let the leader attack go through, but I wasn't in a position to arrival at that point. But I have a lot of cards in hand. So I'm feeling pretty good about my ability to defend. I'm very comfortable in blue decks going down to 1 or 2 life and defending that life for turn after turn.
Yeah, especially in blue, it's very easy to get a solid gift out of your life as well, even if you're not well equipped in those low life situations.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this Cabba card that's in your energy here, the pseudo arrival one?
I actually really I want to love the card. We only pulled 2 out of our case. So that was the only one that I saw all night, and I used it as a charge target because with the way that he was responding to everything, I never felt like there was going to be a point that I was going to have 3 or more on field to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I can agree with that assessment.
And to comment here, I believe he did go ahead and just tap the energy to play out the 3-drop Goku in his combo area.
Yeah.
That would technically happen at the end, but in this case,
that is one of the habits that a bunch of our new players have formed, and we're trying to kind of coach them out of that habit.
I could see it's difficult to parse. Like, is it like a rival? Does it come in right away? Is it like Great Ape? Does it come in at the end? Like,
yeah,
especially if you're a newer player.
And so you saw there, as soon as I put a card out, I just lost it.
Yikes.
So, and that's just the way that this match felt. It was like every time I did something, he just had a response to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is the fantastic thing about the SS4 Bardock package, is that it gives you the tools to deal with pretty much everything you can run into. And if you're good at identifying those threats, you will have the tool built into the archetype to deal with it. Which I think the deck is fantastic for both experienced players and newer players, because now newer players are used to playing are getting used to playing like a toolbox, where in other games or the starter decks are very straightforward and try to force you into a line of play that not every deck shares.
And I want to point out real quick, I think his drop's not on the mat. Correct me if I'm wrong, Fluff. Or was he
his drop is not on the mat.
Okay. Because I think I saw his shadow kind of go to the corner in the discarding a card for Toba. And it just threw me off. I was like, oh, is he going to discard a card?
Yeah, his drop area was like off to the side in a weird spot.
Yeah, it looks like it's just south of Fluff's leader there.
And yeah, this is a hard spot to be in, facing down that field where basically every energy that I spend is causing me some, like, it's not even worth it for me to take my leader into one of those cards because I have to waste cards in my hand to try to combo them. And he's got a really sizable hand himself. And I actually think he's beating me on hand advantage through most of this game.
That Jimmy and I talked about that. This Spirit Residence Bardock is pretty strong against Cabba in general. Because like arrival cards cost so many cards to come out of your hand. And then as the game goes on, as that Bardock is building markers, it's drawing your opponent cards. And then once you have a board built, that Bardock can just rip 2 markers and punish you further for playing all those battle cards with Arrival.
Yeah.
So I think this Bardock Unison, if you're playing Cabba, should be almost a heavy consideration for your early attacks, just to try and keep your opponent from getting much value out of it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I'm honestly a little tilted because I wasn't expecting the level of play, or I had never seen SS4 Bardock played this way, and it was kind of tilting me, like, oh god, I didn't think the deck was this good, and it was a big eye opener for me.
Yeah, I remember a couple of weeks ago, Mike came to me and showed me his list and was like, this isn't working the way I want it to. What are some changes I can make? And we changed about 6 or 8 cards, and I think he worked on it some more from there. And it looks like it's in a pretty solid spot now. Just a pressury toolbox deck with really decent top end.
Yeah.
I believe he went around to a few people at the shop with that as well, because he mentioned that to me as well, and I gave my 2 cents on how I like to play the deck, and I think he's really formed it into something that works really well for him.
Yeah. He's hitting all the correct notes. And it's very difficult for me as the Cabba player to figure out a spot that I'm going to get through all of this.
That was a big Trunks, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What allowed the cards his energy to restand again?
His leader card.
The leader, that's right. Unswing. That's right.
Yeah, it's at the end of his turn, I think.
Yeah, I do believe untapping the yellow is probably the worst option, but I don't know what's in his hand.
Yeah, who knows what he's at.
Well, he said at one point, he was like, I should have untapped another one. And I was like, feel free to change it if you want. And he declined to do so.
I am slightly confused if he has 2 drop piles all of a sudden or not, though, because that Goku's underneath his deck now.
It's warped.
No, the one below. his warped at the top.
Yeah, because he warped the Vegeta in cost of the SS4 thwarting, so
perhaps he does have 2 drop piles now.
Well, he might have moved his drop pile back to under the deck.
That's possible.
Because, yeah, one should be warp pile, one is drop pile. And so here, I'm just trying to, like, stem the bleeding flow. It's really frustrating because, like, literally every time I do something, there's some response on his end. Which is how it should be. Like, that's what this deck is supposed to do. And he was just hitting all of the correct notes. So hitting a power burst when, he had the open energy to. I know he's got the thwarting that's going to come down next turn, most likely. So now I'm just trying to pressure the field as much as possible. I don't really care about that topo, so I'm not going to worry about it.
I mean, you did a good job clearing the board up, though.
Yeah. How many markers does this unison have? 5?
I think he's on 5.
Yeah, no point wasting attacks on that.
Yeah, it really, getting that counter early really kind of threw me off. And put me into like a recovery mode more than a pressure the unison mode. But I agree. I probably should have focused that unison early game. But I wouldn't have had the battle cards to, attack it 3 times to kill it. So he was going to get the +1 either way.
Yeah, it just didn't work out that way this game. I think he did a good job as far as clearing the board.
I knew it was coming, so I decided to save the energy. And I knew he was essentially going to be mostly tapping out to play it. So hitting the Zamos, the Eliminator, seemed to be the only thing that I could do.
Yeah.
Stop it, even if it's just for a turn.
Better than letting it swing at you 3 times.
Yeah. Plus losing, 2 cards on the field, 2 cards from hand. As much as I've been hemorrhaging resources in this match, that would have been, like, nail in the coffin, I think. And so there you saw he adjusted to keep his red energy open, which told me there was a potential counterplay in the works.
If he had the foresight to leave the red energy open when tapping for SS4, this could have been a very different image right now if he has the Bardock counter in his hand.
Yes.
To snipe the Zamasu and then...
Yeah.
That
would have potentially been game.
Yeah. Wait, does Bardock get the reduction during your turn or only during your opponent's turn?
You can take a life to get the reduction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which I think at that stage of the game, just taking a life would have been the best option.
Yeah.
But we're speaking as if there was one in hand. It could have just been untapping the energy for the Topo.
And that
I believe he did also.
Crazy.
He did do the -2 on Bardock there.
Oof.
So now I'm going to have to kind of measure my battle card attacks. And, like, do they really matter? And what I'm kind of thinking is, like, I swung and I was debating on if I was going to counter the Topo or not. And decided that I wanted to because I'm already being limited by the Bardock.
Yeah. It's too much.
Is that still just one counter on the Unison?
No, it has 3. He had 5 markers on it earlier. He -2.
Okay. It just looks like 1 on the camera. I was making sure.
Yeah, nope, it's 3.
It's like a light dice, I think.
Yeah.
So, the turn before, if I missed it, I apologize. Did we talk about you doing the -1 to him?
We did not.
So Bardock's interesting with the -1 because he flips over, and it's still a 15k leader.
Yes, but he lost access to the rip a marker, tap a battle card, restand an energy, draw a card. Like, he lost all of that effect. So I was like, I might as well do it again. I think I ultimately decided to just +1 and then just cast my new Unison for defense.
And that's a really good one.
Yeah, it's a good Unison to cast.
It was really cool here. I didn't figure I was going to get the damage through. I figured he would be able to combo out of it, no issue. But I'm also trying to kind of resolve myself for what is going to happen when he swings with that thwarting Gogeta. And kind of counting the cards in my hand. I have plenty of defensive options in my hand. So I know that I'm not going anywhere from attacks that he has coming through.
So playing the Boo Unison, setting up, you've got Goku hit that can potentially block twice. You're in good shape.
Yeah, I'm feeling really defensive. And this is the part of the game where, like, I feel like I can ground him out. I am more experienced, so I feel like I can get the grind through.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of see what happens here.
And for clarification's sake, Gogeta's isn't a remove, it's just if it can't be KO'd.
Correct.
So,
correct.
And the Unison just places at the bottom of the deck, so it just getting rid of that card is such a good thing. The fact that you're able to do it for 3 turns, hold that card back. Now, granted, he finally got the effects of it to get rid of 2 of your cards. Do all those 3 cards have barrier?
No. Gogeta and Nora's barrier, but he targeted the Zamasu.
Which indestructible.
Indestructible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Which just helps you maintain the blockers you need and stuff.
Yeah. He used the leader's effect to attack my blocker. And he swung into Unison, I believe. So I didn't worry about, defending or doing anything like that.
And that's smart because you can't activate battle to restand it.
Yeah. But I felt like he was up to something, and I wasn't exactly sure what it was. It was almost like he was trying to bait me out on resources. So, because we're just getting like weird swings through. He's going to combo really heavy on the Topo here because I am at 1 life. So I'm gonna Senzu Bean up to protect myself. And I think I forgot to activate battle on the hit. I used the Cabba to spirit boost to give myself another super combo to combo out of it. Like, I feel really good about my ability to defend against any onslaught that he can produce.
You still got a blocker on board outside of your Goku hit, though.
I don't.
The Unison.
I've got the Unison. And then he dropped the 10 drop. And instantly deals a point of damage, so he got the game. Like the card, it was like playing, it just wasn't in my scope of like, I should be prepared for that.
Does it have deflect?
Even if it did, I mean, the only thing if you had his Zamasu,
I only have one marker on my Unison.
I mean, does it have deflect? I don't think it does.
I don't think so.
Zamasu's 4 or less, that's right, never mind. So, with that being said, hope you all enjoyed today's video. Keep in mind those buttons down below and on the screen while Fluff does the outro.
Really exciting getting a new wave of new players in at the shop, but it's also really exciting to see them grow in skill with the game. Like, we always want the quality of competition and the quality of people that we're playing with to be at a high level. So I was super stoked at the end of that match. Like, I did take the L, but I was still super stoked at the end of it. So as always, read your cards, know your plays, let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to, and Fluff out.